Göbekli Tepe civilization. Göbekli Tepe in southeastern Turkey is the oldest known monumental architecture on Earth, predating Stonehenge by over 6,000 years and challenging everything we thought we knew about early human civilization. Built around 9600 BCE by supposed hunter-gatherers who hadn't yet developed pottery or agriculture, the site features massive T-shaped limestone pillars up to 6 meters tall and weighing 10 to 20 tons each, arranged in circular enclosures and decorated with sophisticated carvings of foxes, lions, scorpions, and vultures. The construction required an estimated 500 or more people to quarry, transport, and erect these stones, yet there's no evidence of permanent settlement at the site. Covering approximately 22 acres with at least 20 circular stone enclosures discovered so far, Göbekli Tepe suggests that organized religion may have actually driven the development of complex society, rather than following agriculture as previously believed. Around 8000 BCE, the entire complex was deliberately buried for reasons that remain completely unknown. The builders left no written records, no clear descendants, and no explanation for their advanced stoneworking knowledge or organizational capabilities, making this one of archaeology's most fascinating mysteries. Indus Valley Civilization. The Indus Valley Civilization flourished across what is now Pakistan and northwestern India from roughly 3,300 to 1300 BCE, covering an area larger than ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia combined at approximately 1.25 million square kilometers. This Bronze Age society developed remarkably advanced urban planning, with grid-patterned streets, sophisticated drainage systems that wouldn't be matched in Europe until the 19th century, and standardized weights, measures, and brick sizes across their vast territory. Major cities like Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro housed an estimated 30,000 to 60,000 people each, in multi-story brick houses equipped with private wells and bathrooms, while the Great Bath at Mohenjo-Daro measures 12 meters by 7 meters and 2.4 meters deep, suggesting ritualistic water use. Despite over 140 years of study, their writing system, featuring 400-plus unique symbols, remains completely undeciphered, and archaeological evidence shows a surprisingly egalitarian society with no monumental palaces, temples, or weapons of warfare. The civilization mysteriously vanished around 1300 BCE, with scholars proposing theories including climate change, the drying of the Jagar-Hakra river system, or possible Aryan migration, though the true cause remains debated and their cultural legacy unclear. Minoan civilization. The Minoan civilization on the island of Crete represents Europe's first advanced society, flourishing from approximately 2700 to 1100 BCE and possibly inspiring Plato's legend of Atlantis, according to some historians. Centered around massive palace complexes like Knossos, which covered roughly 20,000 square meters with over 1,300 rooms, the Minoans achieved technological marvels, including multi-story buildings with sophisticated plumbing systems, featuring hot and cold running water, terracotta pipes, and even flushing toilets. Their 4-story structures incorporated ingenious light wells to illuminate interior spaces, while vibrant frescoes painted in red, blue, and yellow pigments depicted religious ceremonies, bull-leaping rituals, and marine life on white plastered walls. The society maintained extensive maritime trade networks throughout the Mediterranean, produced wine, olive oil, and textiles at industrial scales, and developed the still undeciphered linear A script for religious and administrative purposes. Around 1450 BCE, Minoan civilization suffered catastrophic decline, possibly triggered by the massive volcanic eruption on nearby Thera, modern-day Santorini, though the exact relationship between the eruption and Minoan collapse remains debated by scholars. Subsequently conquered by Mycenaean Greeks, the Minoans left behind architectural and engineering achievements that wouldn't be matched in Europe for millennia. Olmec civilization. The Olmec civilization emerged around 1500 BCE in the tropical lowlands of Mexico's Gulf Coast, establishing Mesoamerica's first major culture and profoundly influencing all later societies, including the Maya and Aztec. Most famous for their colossal stone head sculptures, the Olmecs carved 17 discovered heads from basalt, each reaching up to 3.4 meters tall and weighing over 20 tons, with unique facial features suggesting they may represent individual rulers. These massive sculptures were quarried from the Tuxtla Mountains and transported 80 to 100 kilometers to major centers like San Lorenzo, La Venta, and Tres Zapotes, though the exact methods remain unclear. The Olmecs developed Mesoamerica's earliest known writing system and created the long count calendar that later cultures would adopt, while also constructing sophisticated drainage systems, and the first pyramid in the Americas at La Venta, standing 34 meters high. Their extensive trade networks brought jade, obsidian, and cacao from distant regions, and they pioneered the Mesoamerican ball game and were known for working with rubber, giving them their name, which means rubber people in Aztec. Around 400 BCE, Olmec civilization mysteriously declined, with major sites systematically destroyed or buried, and while their cultural influence persisted, their identity and relationship to modern populations remains uncertain. Kingdom of Aksum. The Kingdom of Aksum rose to prominence around 100 CE in what is now Ethiopia and Eritrea, becoming a major trading empire that controlled Red Sea commerce and connected the Roman Empire with India and Arabia. This powerful African civilization achieved remarkable feats of engineering, erecting towering granite obelisks called stelae that reached up to 33 meters in height and weighed an estimated 520 tons, with the Great Stele representing the tallest single stone structure humans ever attempted to erect before it fell during construction. Aksum was the only ancient African civilization to mint its own currency, producing gold, silver, and bronze coins inscribed with Greek and Ge'ez text alongside royal imagery, demonstrating their economic sophistication and international connections. The kingdom's stone architecture featured precisely cut granite blocks, fitted together without mortar, showcasing advanced masonry techniques that were later lost and have proven difficult for modern Ethiopians to replicate. King Ezana's conversion around 330 CE made Aksum the first Christian kingdom in Africa, establishing a unique Christian tradition that survives today in the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, and according to tradition, the kingdom claimed possession of the Ark of the Covenant, though this remains unverified. Beginning in the 7th century, Islamic expansion gradually cut off Aksum's vital trade routes, leading to the empire's decline by the 10th century, and leaving behind architectural mysteries and undeciphered ancient Ge'ez texts. Angkor Civilization. The Khmer Empire's capital at Angkor in Cambodia represents the most extensive pre-industrial urban complex ever constructed, flourishing from approximately 802 to 1431 CE, and supporting a population that scholars estimate reached 750,000 to 1 million people at its peak. Angkor Wat, the civilization's crown jewel and largest religious monument ever built, covers 162.6 hectares with a central tower rising 65 meters and featuring over 3,000 carved figures depicting Hindu epics in intricate bas-reliefs along its sandstone galleries, all precisely aligned to the spring equinox sunrise. The empire's true genius lay in its sophisticated hydraulic engineering system spanning roughly 1,000 square kilometers, including massive reservoirs called barrays, such as the West Barray, which measured 8 kilometers by 2.3 kilometers and held 48 million cubic meters of water. This elaborate network of canals, reservoirs, and moats successfully managed monsoon water cycles to provide year-round irrigation for intensive rice agriculture, enabling the city to support a population larger than any contemporary European city across an urban area exceeding 400 square kilometers, containing over 1,000 temples. In the 15th century, the civilization collapsed, with theories including environmental degradation, water system failure from sedimentation, or invasion by the Thai kingdom of Ayutthaya, though multiple factors likely contributed. The jungle reclaimed the temples for over 400 years, until French explorers rediscovered the ruins in the 1860s. Cahokia near modern St. Louis, Missouri was the largest pre-Columbian settlement north of Mexico, flourishing from approximately 600 to 1400 CE as the center of sophisticated Mississippian culture, with a population that scholars estimate reached 10,000 to 20,000 people at its peak around 1050 to 1200 CE, making it larger than London at the time. The city's most impressive feature, Monk's Mound, stands as the largest prehistoric earthwork in the Americas at roughly 30 meters high, with a 14-hectare base containing an estimated 22 million cubic feet of earth transported basket by basket to create this massive structure. Over 120 earthen mounds were constructed across the site, with more than 80 surviving today, surrounding a grand plaza that covered over 40 acres and could accommodate thousands for ceremonies and gatherings. The inhabitants demonstrated advanced astronomical knowledge through Woodhenge, a series of timber circles that marked solstices and equinoxes and were rebuilt multiple times. while archaeological evidence reveals extensive trade networks that brought Gulf Coast shells, Great Lakes copper, and Appalachian mica to the city. By 1400 CE, Cahokia was mysteriously abandoned with its population dispersed, and scholars proposed theories including resource depletion, environmental degradation, political collapse, or climate shifts during the Little Ice Age, though the true reasons remain debated. The civilization left no written records, and most Americans remain unaware that North America's largest ancient city once thrived in their own continent. Great Zimbabwe. Great Zimbabwe in southern Africa served as the capital of the Kingdom of Zimbabwe from approximately 1100 to 1450 CE, featuring the largest ancient stone structures in sub-Saharan Africa, built entirely without mortar, using precisely fitted granite blocks. The site's massive dry stone walls reach heights of up to 11 meters and thicknesses of 5 meters, with the Great Enclosures walls extending nearly 250 meters in length and incorporating an estimated 1 million granite blocks, while the mysterious conical tower rises 10 meters high with a 5.5 meter diameter, though its purpose remains unknown. This sophisticated masonry demonstrates advanced engineering with walls featuring elegant chevron and herringbone patterns that reveal remarkable aesthetic sensibility alongside structural knowledge, and the civilization controlled lucrative gold trade routes connecting interior Africa to the Swahili coast. Archaeological discoveries of Chinese pottery, Persian glass, and Arab coins prove Great Zimbabwe participated in extensive international trade networks, while the city supported an estimated population of 10,000 to 20,000 people, along with substantial cattle herds across a site covering approximately 730 hectares. Around 1450 CE, the city was abandoned, with theories including resource depletion from overgrazing, decline of gold trade routes, or water scarcity, though the exact causes remain debated by scholars. Colonial-era Europeans falsely attributed the construction to non-African civilizations, claims thoroughly debunked by archaeological evidence, while the construction techniques themselves were lost, and modern Zimbabweans cannot replicate the mortarless stoneworking methods of their ancestors. Easter Island civilization. The Polynesian civilization on Easter Island, known as Rapa Nui, created one of archaeology's most enduring mysteries by carving and transporting nearly 1,000 massive stone moai statues across one of Earth's most isolated islands located 3,700 kilometers from South America. Between approximately 1200 and 1650 CE, the islanders carved 887 cataloged moai from volcanic tuff at the Rano Raraku quarry, with statues averaging 4 meters tall and 12.5 tons, though the largest completed moai reached 10 meters and 82 tons, while an unfinished statue called El Gigante would have stood 21 meters and weighed approximately 160 tons. The transportation methods remain debated, with recent experimental archaeology suggesting a walking technique using ropes to rock the statues upright across distances up to 18 kilometers, though some scholars still propose sledges or rollers requiring the island's once abundant palm trees. The civilization also developed Rongorongo, an undeciphered writing system with only 26 tablets surviving, making it one of the few independently invented scripts in human history, while supporting a population that may have peaked at 10,000 to 15,000 before crashing to just 2,000 to 3,000 by European contact in 1722. By around 1650 CE, the island suffered ecological collapse after complete deforestation led to soil erosion, species extinctions, and the inability to build fishing canoes, triggering the Huri Moai period of interclan warfare when statues were systematically toppled and the civilization fragmented, demonstrating the devastating consequences of resource overexploitation on an isolated ecosystem. Nan Madol. Nan Madol, off the coast of Pohnpei in Micronesia, represents one of archaeology's most baffling engineering achievements, an artificial archipelago city constructed entirely on coral reefs using massive basalt columns between approximately 1200 and 1628 CE, and often called the Venice of the Pacific. The site consists of 92 artificial islets built directly on the coral reef and connected by a network of canals. Constructed using an estimated 750,000 metric tons of columnar basalt in the form of hexagonal stone logs, some weighing up to 50 tons each, quarried from the Sakes region roughly 25 kilometers away, and somehow transported across the island. The walls of structures like the Nandawa's Royal Mortuary Complex reach heights of 7.6 meters and enclose areas of 0.4 hectares, with basalt columns stacked horizontally like logs to create massive enclosures across a total area covering approximately 75 hectares. The canals allowed high tide navigation by canoe throughout the city, which served as the ceremonial and political center for the Sotolor dynasty. Though how the builders moved 50-ton stones without wheels, metal tools, or draft animals remains completely unexplained and the subject of ongoing speculation. According to oral tradition, the city was abandoned following the invasion by Isukalekal from Kosrae Island around 1628, and the construction techniques were completely lost, with locals unable to explain the methods their ancestors employed. Today, this UNESCO World Heritage Site gradually erodes as mangrove trees grow through the ancient walls, and no written records exist to illuminate the engineering knowledge that created this remarkable city built on nothing but coral reef. Ancestral Puebloans. The ancestral Puebloans, formerly called Anasazi, created a sophisticated civilization in the American Southwest from approximately 750 to 1300 CE, constructing multi-story cliff dwellings and establishing extensive road networks that demonstrate remarkable engineering and astronomical knowledge. Their most famous achievement, Cliff Palace at Mesa Verde, features 150 rooms and 23 kivas, the circular ceremonial chambers that characterize Puebloan architecture, built directly into a cliff alcove and housing an estimated 100 to 120 people, while the massive great houses at Chaco Canyon, like Pueblo Bonito, contained over 600 rooms and stood 4 to 5 stories tall. The ancestral Puebloans constructed an extensive road system with over 400 kilometers of engineered roads up to 9 meters wide, connecting Chaco Canyon to outlying communities 80 to 100 kilometers away, though the exact purpose of these remarkably straight roads remains debated among scholars. They demonstrated advanced astronomical knowledge through constructions like the Sun Dagger at Fachada Butte, where spiral petroglyphs are marked by daggers of light at solstices and equinoxes, and they maintained long-distance trade networks evidenced by the presence of macaws from Mexico over 1,500 kilometers away. The civilization developed sophisticated water management, including check dams, irrigation canals, and reservoirs to support agriculture in the arid environment, while their distinctive T-shaped doorways and symmetrical room layouts reveal careful architectural planning. By 1300 CE, the ancestral Puebloans abandoned the Four Corners region and migrated south and east, forming the modern Pueblo peoples, including the Hopi and Zuni, with the Great Drought from 1276 to 1299 CE coinciding with the abandonment, though cultural and political factors likely also contributed to this major population movement. Teotihuacan. Teotihuacan in central Mexico stands as Mesoamerica's largest ancient city, flourishing from approximately 100 BCE to 750 CE, with a population scholars estimate reached 100,000 to 200,000 at its peak between 500 and 600 CE, making it the sixth largest city in the world at that time. The mysterious builders, whose identity remains completely unknown since they left no decipherable writing system, constructed the third largest pyramid in the world called the Pyramid of the Sun, which rises 65 meters high with a 225-meter base and contains roughly 1 million cubic meters of material. The city was meticulously planned on a grid layout aligned 15.5 degrees east of astronomical north, covering 37 square kilometers with over 2,000 multifamily residential compounds, while the Avenue of the Dead stretches 2.4 kilometers long and 40 meters wide, connecting the major pyramids and plazas. Teotihuacan pioneered the talud tablero architectural style, featuring a sloped base topped by a vertical panel, which became the standard throughout Mesoamerica and influenced all later cultures, including the Toltecs and Aztecs. Archaeological evidence reveals a remarkably multi-ethnic city, with distinct Maya, Zapotec, and Mixtec neighborhoods, while vibrant murals painted throughout compounds depicted gods, jaguars, and serpents in red, blue, yellow, and green pigments. Around 750 CE, the city collapsed catastrophically, with major structures burned and destroyed, possibly during an internal uprising, though the exact causes remain unclear, and when the Aztecs discovered the abandoned ruins centuries later, they were so awed they named it Teotihuacan, meaning birthplace of the gods, and conducted their own rituals there until the Spanish conquest. If you want to see more, click the video on screen now.